You're hardly ever in the office. Oh, well, a new video started. So I don't know how, I don't know if he is hardly in the office. I don't know how if the manager is hardly in the office, I don't know how people get their weekly rent paid. But next week, from the looks of it, it looks like I'm supposed to be back on the streets next week. I hope not, cause it's supposed to. It's been like a lot of days of being cold and raining, and so yeah, um I've been craving pancakes lately, but I'm not gonna eat them. I mean, twice a day I had sweet stuff to eat. Well, a couple of days ago I had the egg rolls for lunch. I think I ate 3 meals that day. I had egg rolls for lunch, and then for dinner, um, what did I have for dinner? I probably did have the I don't remember what I had for dinner. I probably had applesauce and those sweet potatoes. And I slept really good that night. But yesterday I didn't have breakfast and I just had the chicken, vegetables, and fried rice for lunch. And then for dinner I had those mashed sweet potatoes and peanut butter and applesauce. And I didn't get to sleep well that great at all. But I mean, a lot of people act like they think that they can handpick that I deserve to. I mean, they have a change of mind about me and say that, that now they make it like as if they don't consider me chosen anymore. But I just can't believe how many professed targeted individuals can act like a covert religious narcissist. And I mean, TIs are damaging each other. And in the beginning, he was telling me, we all need support. And, we all need to support and edify one another and stuff like that. Then when I reach out for help and support, now that's supposed to be forbidden. And then he started to be like very controlling after a while. Because when I told him about people being a narcissistic, control freak, fake friend, he was like, well, damn. It's like, do you think that everybody's a narcissistic, control freak, fake friend? I hope you don't feel that way about me. Now I do, bitch. Now I do. You narcissistic, gay, satanic faggot pretending to be Christian. And it's like, I mean, and it's like the religious narcs love to try to make you feel inferior. You see their sins, but they glorify themselves as perfect and without sin. But then, they turn around and do you dirty and backstab you and act fake. And this is the same guy who, when I asked him, how old were you, when you first started studying the Bible or reading the Bible or whatever, he acted like as if he didn't feel comfortable with answering that question. But if I asked him certain questions about his gay experiences, well, the first thing he would do was he acted like he didn't mind, he didn't have a problem with answering those questions. That really got me, and then he told me a different story online each time I try to ask him, well, how long have you been a Christian for, or how long you've been studying the Bible or whatever. But I feel like you're wasting your time bragging about how much you fast and pray and stuff, while you try to make like you're repentant, and then he's always, preaching repentance, while he's still living in sin himself. He sins with his mouth himself. I mean, he tried to talk about in a video today about Candy. I mean, he didn't mention my name. He said, I don't talk about, he said, I don't talk about family members like another T.I. And I'm the only one he told me that I'm the only one he been talking to. Or I guess he's lying about that. And I realized he told me certain lies, but he doesn't do stuff like T.I.s that turn into perps. He's still friendly with them. But I'm still targeted, never been compromised. And just why would you do that to me? I don't get it. And I'm deeply hurt and been feeling more depression about that than what the regular online perping. This is the same guy that tried to say that, oh, God doesn't want you with the car, and if he did, he would have blessed you with one already. And then turn around and said that I'm about to be on the streets, and that when I get on the streets, and if it's cold, then I'm going to go get me a car. And he'll get angry and hostile if I bring up how much I wish I could drive and have a car again. But I don't know. He must be the same fake and two-faced that his sister tried to say he is. But yet he said his sister is targeted and set up for sacrifice. But then he said his sister perps him. And so then he said that he called me up, the conversation before last, he called me up crying and saying that he got into an argument with his sister, and that his sister had told him that, you act like you think you're bigger and better than God. And he's like, how am I going to think I'm bigger and better than God? That doesn't even make any sense. Well, you do. So, as I said, I mean, he used to comment, give numerous comments and watch so you saw me talking about my family and talking about whatever, but he wants to be narcissistic and self-righteous, but I don't do that or whatever. But I remember back in April or May it was beginning of May last year, before me and him stopped talking. And so he said, he made a threat to stab I remember it was a Saturday my time around noon. It could have been still morning where he was at, and he was talking. He was like vicious and angry and hostile, and he was mad. He got into an argument with his twin brother, but he was like, he threatened to stab his twin brother. He said, and I said, you ain't gonna stab him. He said, oh yes I am. He's like, I haven't masturbated in 2 years, and I got a lot of testosterone. Whatever, So. I mean, stop it with the freaking self-righteousness, and then you tell people to repent while your sin is being two-faced and fake and narcissistic and controlling and abusive and disrespectful. I mean, for him to try to talk about being, in which a lot of us targets are hated by the world, but I'm starting to feel like he's one of the popular fakes. Or has become one of the popular fakes. And whatever YouTube video or whatever he says on Twitter is always those narcissistic, angry lectures to try to frighten and scare people, and stuff like that. And he talks bad about people, talks bad and laugh about people too. So, I mean, how are you going to talk about keep repenting every day? Have whatever you mad at me about, have you forgiven me? No. You still decide that I'm no longer that you decide that you no longer think that I'm chosen, and I'm one of your enemies, and you just hung up in my face, and I haven't done you anything. But as I said, after you form a friendship with somebody, after you form a friendship is formed, and y'all two start talking and getting along and stuff, and you don't realize how fake and manipulative that person was. And I mean, because it felt like he was manipulating the friendship and making me feel gaslit when he would go days without talking to me, and then I would have panic attacks, feeling afraid that he turned against me, and I didn't have anybody else to talk, any other targets to talk to. I didn't have anybody else to really talk to. And so he made it like as if he's the only TI to talk to, when I mentioned about how I didn't have anybody to talk to. And so he, gave a narcissistic, angry lecture and about how I should deal with and cope with my targeting on my own. And so he tried to say, because I'm not going to be there for you all the time. That's when he told me, because I'm not going to be there for you. I'm not going to be there for you all the time. And you should find another defense mechanism. I said, well, what do you mean by defense mechanism? He said, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So, lecturing me for like between 4 and 6 hours that day. And then I'm 8 years older than you. You don't freaking talk to me that way. So I blocked him, and he tried to call me the next day, and I knew he probably was trying to call to cuss me out. So me and him didn't talk for a few months. And was supposed to be frightened and afraid of this person. I don't have any doggone mental health counselor or nobody to talk to. And if you've been hurt and traumatized and abused, how can you tell another person to get over it? Or make it like as if, like just like the other guy today made it like as if I'm just a weak punk. And so the popular fakes who try to make like as if you're a weak punk, they turn around and say that you're fake because they figure you can't handle your targeting. But there's always been a point when certain points in time when our targeting would be unbearable. And if you hypocritically say that TIs need to support and edify each other and lift each other up, but then when I'm in a crisis, you kick me down even harder and think, good, you suffer all by yourself. I just don't know. I just don't know, but I know that the world hates me so much. They hate me. The hate is strong. And they think that it's righteous hatred and make it like as if I'm the only sinner. I'm the only one who's susceptible to doing wrong. So we all do wrong, but he thinks that just because he performed this weird ass fake self-deliverance ritual of fake casting out demons and fake fasting, then that's supposed to mean that, I'm saved, I'm better than saved, I'm delivered. I mean, as I said, like another Lisa Ruby all over again. And yet he wanted to say that I hate what Lisa Ruby did to you. But he acted like as if it was all fake with him pretending to act like he sympathized with everything I'm going through. And then now all of a sudden you have a change of heart and become abusive. And you don't care how you do you a guy doing this to a female. And I can tell he glorifies himself as having more common sense and being more mature than me and think I'm childish and need to grow up. That's the same way the narcissistic perps feel. But I've been blogging and journaling my feelings, and I shouldn't have to be afraid to express what I'm going through. And then me speaking out against abuse, and then people make it like as if this makes me look more crazy. So, I'm talking right now in order to try to prevent myself from having a meltdown or a panic attack or something like that, or an outburst. Because, what he did was, fucked up and unfair. I know I curse too, but you curse too. So how are you going to tell somebody to repent? And we both curse. You badmouth people too. You talk bad about people too. So, I just don't understand. I'm just confused. Really confused, shocked, and even within a couple of months that we talked, he would go like a week or two without talking to me. And I wondered, did I say something offensive? And another time, he would go like calling me up every day. But it's okay for you to need somebody to talk to when you're in a crisis. And it's like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Why the fuck would you re-traumatize me all over again? Why would you do that? And there's some more things I wish I could say that I would get in trouble if I say it, so I'm not going to say it. Or, but, but I just can't believe that people supposedly save so-called Christians in the so-called TI community, treat each other like that. Now, he lied to me when me and him first started talking on the phone. He lied to me and said that he stays away from the TI community and that he keeps a low profile. But it seems like he's popular and well liked on Twitter. He got his freaking people who worship him and idolize him and stuff. So it's like I have to vent somewhere. Rather than just holding my feelings in and me feeling like I need validation. He told me about what he went through also, and I told him about what I went through. So it seemed like he used my traumas again, just like the Freemason rapist did, and our other fake friends. They'll try to get you comfortable and try to get you comfortable and leave you to think that you can tell them anything and you can trust them and stuff like that, or you can or they wait until after you're good and comfortable with them to turn around and just use your traumas against you. Like the Freemason guy who raped me, like shortly before he proceeded to rape me, it was like maybe 20 or 30 minutes, me and him sat on the steps of my house and were talking, and he said he wanted to use the bathroom, and that he needed to use the bathroom so bad. And I said, well, I can't, I don't feel comfortable with letting you in my house because, I've been raped before or whatever. And so he tried, use fear and intimidation, like try to make me scared. And he was an armed security guard, and he used fear and intimidation to let me for me to get scared and let him in. And then he hurried up and ran inside and snooped through all my belongings and then acted like as if he stole total control over my house. And then you know, and then he hurried up and ran to the bathroom and flushed the toilet while I was taking off my backpack, and I was sleep deprived, very sleep deprived that day, because I didn't get any sleep at all the night before for whatever reason. And then I went into my bedroom feeling shocked because he was already naked and everything, and I was scared. And he said that he said you need a man that's gonna value and respect you, and then he proceeded to rape me. And I mean, that's another video to go into, explicit detail to everything he did to me, and I don't even remember every detail that what he did to me. But that's too traumatic for me to even try to go back and talk about either. I mean, also, so, but just like he used that against me, this guy right here, you targeted in a Bible believer, and you've been traumatized too, but then you use my trauma against me. And it's like he did another Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst. And it took me at least a minimum of 5 years to heal and get over what Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst did to me. It took me at least 5 years to get over what they did to me. And so, if this guy knows that I'm emotionally fragile, and he exploited that, and he also joined the cult of people who believe that Candy Grandpre is a bad person and is the problem, and Candy Grandpre is trouble. So I'm sorry that I've been just troubled and going through a lot and having a lot of emotions and really having nobody to really talk to. And every time I do name names, then they want to be like, well, that's how the drama starts. So, they make it like that's how the drama starts when you name the names of these abusive people. But as I said, if I haven't done you anything, you're quick to block and cut off contact with me and without explanation. But then, if you say that people have been perping you, and what you do is TIs that turn perps or fake TI perps, the first thing you do is kiss their ass and beg for their love. And he was crying and complaining to me that whole 2 weeks on that trip, and he kept meeting up with that lady. But he didn't block her, or he didn't try to cuss her out or tell her off. And I mean, if you choose in respect of persons, if you're supposed to be a Bible believer or a Christian, if you told me that she was a witch and doing witchcraft on you and try to sex you up, and that her and her family were using and taking advantage of your money, your stimulus money, when you were up there in Illinois, but then you turn around and complain to me every day about it. But then when I'm going through something, you kick me down. When I went through my Sky Zone situation, you yelled at me and kicked me down and didn't want to hear it, and told me that the Sky Zone manager had a right to fire me, but then turn around and say, well, you should go and file a lawsuit against that manager. But I mean, before then, me and him would spend at least 5 to 8 hours, or spend pretty much all day, every day on the phone. And then when he had something bad happen to him, I don't know who this person is anymore. And I forgot that person that I first met over the phone, and was supportive and nice to me and say, oh, I know you're real and everything. you know, and now all of a sudden, I mean, other people said that he might have been paid off, but he swears up and down he would never do that. Some people said that he was paid to flip on me, but he swears up and down he would never take a bribe. But he condemns everybody else who he said that this person or that person took a bribe or that they took a deal, and he's still fucking with them. He still has not blocked those people or avoided those people. And I never perped him, and I never perped anybody, and I never got any money or compensation for perping anybody, and I never been initiated. So, now I've had other so-called targets who treated me a certain way and started to love bomb me. And then next thing you know, gradually, and I mean, they send me flattery words and love bomb me and even give me money. And then all of a sudden, change of narrative and opinion and change of heart about me. And I've been consistent this whole time. I have not changed. But this one lady, when she laughed at, I'm not gonna mention her name again, but she knows who she is. She laughed at me and her got into an argument because she laughed at me about suffering in the cold, and I blocked her. But then I felt like, well, it wouldn't be feel right for me to block her and not tell her why. But I felt a heated argument coming on. And so then she said that she was